So once the Smallworld data provider for ESRI has been installed, you'll see here in our catalog that under database connections we have an additional option for add Smallworld workspace. So if we go ahead and double click on there, see we get a connection parameter box very similar to ESRI SDE. So we basically put in a name here for distribution, a server name, which can be whatever server that the server piece of the Smallworld data provider is running, Smallworld, and then the service name, and also a port number, so you can actually have multiple services running on the same server through different ports. So we have a test connection box here. We're going to go ahead and OK. I'm going to cancel out of here and go into one that I already have, which is this one here. So we double click to connect. So what we see here is basically all of the tables in the Smallworld database that don't have geometries have been listed down here as ESRI tables, and then the geometry-based tables have been put into feature data sets. So let's go ahead and expand this electric one. So what you see here, due to the fact that Smallworld supports multiple geometries per record, we have split them out. So you'll see here, for example, with capacitor, we have an annotation geometry, a location geometry, and a primary location geometry. So those have actually been split out into different feature classes so that we get the ESRI support here. So let's go ahead and click on the electric capacitor here. So we'll go into preview. Okay, so we start to see data. Let's zoom in a little bit here. Our bounds have been set quite high. And what we'll see, we'll start to see the data actually render. So we'll zoom in there. So then it basically works as any other ESRI feature class. So we can go in here, we can click on the feature through identify, and we'll see all the fields that are existing on there. It supports the concept of display fields. So then one other interesting point is we actually extract the rotation of the point geometry here so that we're able to use that in an ArcMap document, and you'll see that later. So let's go into, we can see the table view. Again, so we support the object ID here. So this has to support it takes the Smallworld key field, the ID, and creates an object ID. So we can still support the concept of joins in our ESRI applications. If we just have a look here in capacitor unit, we'll start to see that data here. So the capacitor join field that has is actually extracting now its ID. So again, we can perform a join on that. So let's go ahead and start ArcMap. Well, before we do that, let's just take a look at perhaps a line feature such as primary conductor. So again, we start to see the data rendering in the Arc catalog preview here. So we have identify still running. So we can zoom in, see that data, render. So going over to, let's go ahead and launch ArcMap. And I have a pre-built MXD here that which we can take a look at. So here we have, so we've applied some symbology to the Smallworld layers. We've renamed them. So for example, let's double click on overhead switch. You'll see here in its source, it is actually the electric switch location feature class. So other things, let's go ahead to overhead transformer. So we can actually see now that in the symbology we're using the rotation field in order to rotate the symbol, as you can see here. We can go ahead and zoom out a little bit here. So, you know, we may even venture into actually labeling. So we add a label, choose the name, so maybe we want to use KVA rating. And I've actually chosen the wrong scale there, so let's go into overhead transformer. Label features based on KVA rating. And there we go, we can see the labels start to come up. Very, very simple example, but it just kind of shows the concept. So we can use different symbology. For example, here with distribution pole, we've actually split them out based on attribution, same way as you would do in ESRI. So we'll just pan around a little bit, take a look at the data. Again, obviously, identify works. Go ahead and click on. See, it's an overhead transformer with the attribution right there. So once we've actually managed to author maps our MXDs, we can then go ahead and this works with ArcGIS Server too. So as you'll see, we have an ArcGIS Server Silverlight application running here. So just to kind of show that same MXD that we had is now been built as a map service. We'll switch on the distribution layer here, and you can just see in this area, we'll start zooming in, and we'll see the that rendering there. So let's just zoom in on this area here. We'll start to see more features coming up. So we're seeing some conductors now and switch objects. Zoom into more detail, and we start to see more features. We've got the service points and the secondary conductor transformers. Pan and zoom around, and basically take a look at this stuff. Again, we have an identify tool here, so we can go in and actually identify features. This is going back to the Smallworld database to retrieve this feature information. So we have electric service point, overhead secondary conductor objects. Again, the attribution is right here, and that is the Smallworld data provider for ESRI.